Hi everyone, Quiveen here from the comfort of my kitchen. In today's video, we are going to be taking a look at the month of April, the upcoming month. I will provide an overview of some of the interesting things that are going to happen, but most of the most interesting things that are going to happen in April, one thing in particular, they are going to get their own video. I'm going to bring us back into a city sky. The first week of April is Dark Skies Week, so I will be making videos about the dark skies as we get into April. I have already made a video about dark skies and light pollution very briefly in Irish on this YouTube channel, so you can go back and take a look at that as well if you'd like. Here we are. I want to get just as the sun is setting. Here we go in early April. So the sun is just going down here on April 1st. I'm not pulling a prank on you. You will be able to see Jupiter coming up as the sun goes down, but we can certainly see that Jupiter is very close to the horizon here. It will not be in the sky for long, and that's going to make Jupiter a little hard to observe. We will take a closer look at Jupiter before it disappears behind the sun at the end of this month and as we get into next month. We can just about see very barely Mercury there behind the tree. Technically, if you've got a good enough view, you may still be able to catch Mercury as the sun goes down for the very early part of April, but it's well past its greatest elongation now and will be vanishing from our sky. Just about here, the sun is starting to set. We still have that orangey glow. We can see that Orion, Aldebaran, the constellation of Orion with its bright stars, Aldebaran, the bright star there in the constellation of Taurus, the Seven Sisters. This portion of the sky, which really dominated, especially through winter and late winter, it's now getting very close to sunset, and it's going to get harder to see, harder to observe. The constellation of Aries doesn't get a lot of attention, but it is just after Aldebaran. So we can see Jupiter there. That's one of the bright stars in Aries. That's Hamal, the brightest star in Aries. And it is around here that we will see the comet C12 Pons-Brooks just for the start of April. As we move through April, the comet is going to move in towards Jupiter, but that's also going to bring it closer to the sunset. That is going to make things a little bit trickier to observe. But we can see here just around the start, it's just in between, just next to Hamal in the direction of Jupiter. So I will talk more about that comet when we talk about the upcoming solar eclipse. So there is going to be a solar eclipse on the 8th of April. We'll just move in a little bit more here, and we can see there's the comet coming very close to Uranus and Jupiter. So we're seeing this in this orange-yellow glow of sunset, and there's this tree in the way. So if we try to move forward and let the sky get darker, it's going to disappear behind the tree. But if you don't have that tree to worry about, we do have this great collection of this very narrow crescent moon just after passing the planet Uranus, the planet Jupiter, and the comet 12P Pons-Brooks. So that is going to be very interesting. A very nice view to take a look at. Here we are on April 8th, and for people in the United States of America, as well as parts of Canada, Mexico, and parts of the Pacific Ocean, you are going to be getting a total solar eclipse. There is a solar eclipse on the 8th of April, and it will have its own video dedicated to it and showing the view from the totality of the eclipse, from the eclipse path, as we get further into April. So we'll get into darkness. For the first time in this video. It's really dark here by almost 10 o'clock. We are definitely getting in towards summertime, so it's going to take a lot longer for the sun to go down and the sky to truly darken like this. And by the time the sky is truly dark, we can see that Orion's already close to setting, and the Taurus and the Seven Sisters, they're way over by the west as well. We're definitely getting Leo coming up and taking a bigger position in the sky, but we're going to start seeing more Virgo as we move into April as well. So moving around here to close to the night of the full moon, I believe. There we go, 100%. There's our full moon in April on the 23rd. Of course, we do have to move to the opposite side of the month. If our new moon is pretty close to the start of the month, our full moon will be pretty close to the end. And we can see here at sunset, if I pull us back just a little bit here at the end, Jupiter's going to be, pretty much gone from our sky at this point. And we can see that Orion is already setting before the sky is even dark. It is still just sunset. And pull up a little bit more. The sky isn't going to get incredibly dark on the night of the full moon. The full moon will provide too much light. But we're here just a little bit past midnight. Leo is absolutely past the southernmost point in the sky. We can see, I believe, Corvus. Yep, Corvus the Crow right down there in the south, and we can see Virgo there with the moon just at the end of Virgo, and that bright star there, Spica, is the brightest star in the constellation of Virgo. You might remember from a previous video that there are a lot of galaxies out in this direction at the end of Leo and start of Virgo. We will take a look at some of the Virgo galaxies again as it becomes more prominent in our sky, but here on the 23rd, 24th, it's not going to be the best night to see them because of that full moon. If we move ahead towards the end of April, we can see that the sky is going to be free of the moon, a moonless night for a little bit longer, but of course as we push up towards morning time, the moon will come back into view as the sun is rising. And here we are, pretty much at the end of April, and there is Saturn, and you might even start to see Mars. Now, it is going to be very much shrouded in the glow of sunrise, even as we get to the end of April. Because Mars is moving around the sun, essentially away from us, we need to catch up with Mars before we start seeing it pull across our sky. Saturn orbiting the sun much more distantly and much slower, it's going to progress into our sky as we leave April and come into summer. But especially if you are in a darker location, Saturn's just there starting to come up at the end of the month. And speaking of darker locations, let's get into a dark sky. I am going to talk a lot more about light pollution in an upcoming video and where the sky is darkest and when you can get the best kind of view, because Dark Sky Week is the first week of April here in Ireland, and we have a number of dark sky parks where this kind of thing is possible. From the city, we could barely see Mars at all, but it's there as a little bright dot as the sun rises here just about 5:15 in the morning. We can also really see that teapot shape of Sagittarius there just after Scorpius, which means the glow of the Milky Way must be there. And indeed, we have the summer triangle. It's coming up in the morning. We're not in summer yet. It won't be there all night. But we know the glow of the Milky Way stretches through there. We know the core of the Milky Way is down here between Sagittarius and Scorpius. So if we move ourselves back into the night, get things a little bit darker, the moon is pretty close to full even there. But here we are, 3 o'clock in the morning in April, and we've got that lovely glow of the Milky Way. And you're going to be able to see that center of the Milky Way closer to sunset as we move into summer. But of course, the nights are going to start getting longer, the sky will start getting brighter, and it will become more difficult to see. So we're going to move back another few days. That will bring the moon very close to full, which is unfortunate for the Lyrid meteor shower. There's the April Lyrids. We still have that anti-helion point. You can check out one of my previous videos to find out why there are almost always shooting stars coming from that part of the sky. The Lyrids only pop up on certain nights of the year, as most meteor showers do, and it should be peaking between the 22nd and 24th. They're peaking about on the 22nd of April this year. Now, it can get up to 60 meteors an hour. I've seen predictions of something more like 20 extra meteors in the sky for that. But of course, they're going to be peaking around the night of the full moon. So even though we will be having a little bit of a meteor shower there late in April, it's going to be when the sky is really bright, and that is going to make those meteors a little bit more difficult to see. We can see here, we're in the middle of the countryside, pretty close to, we'll get the sky a little bit darker, a little further from sunrise, and that bright light of the moon is still more than enough to block out the Milky Way. Now, this isn't something that I had known was going to happen, but there is a very close conjunction between the practically full moon, I believe it's just about full there, just shy of full, right next to that bright star Spica. And if we were to move forward, they'll get even closer. As the sun comes up to sunrise, we might not get to see an occultation. No, not quite. Spica ends up just below the moon, but they are super, super close together there on the morning of the 23rd of April 2024. So we have a few exciting things coming up. The Milky Way is going to start looking nice. We've got Saturn and Mars coming into the sky. There's a comet, and that's even for those of us who aren't lucky enough to see a solar eclipse in early April. So we've got a lot coming up in April, and I will of course dedicate a video to the solar eclipse and more videos on dark skies, and potentially a video all about Jupiter before it leaves our sky for the summer months as well. So if you enjoyed this video looking ahead to April, showing you the kinds of changes that are coming up in the sky, make sure to like the video and subscribe to this YouTube channel. I will show what's coming up in the sky for a coming month every month, month, as well as talking in detail about certain features of the sky. So if you enjoy this kind of content, I'd really appreciate a like and a subscribe. And of course, you can check out my website, creebeanscontent.ie, if you would like to read some of this information as well. So hopefully you will come back next time, and I'll see you then.